Holidays are coming. What is your favorite pie? Mine, myself, is pumpkin because, well, I can eat pumpkin year-round, but the best excuse about pumpkin pie is you can eat more than one dose.
Hey. Hi.
Here we are.
Say hi.
There's Devin.
And this is Eloise. Can you say hi?
Say hi, Eloise.
Yeah,
You're on live.
on live.
So today we have Heather hosting, and if you have any questions, you drop it in the chat box for us, and she'll be able to shoot you links, answer any questions, and just any general question you may have, prayer requests, she'll be able to hook you up with us.
Yeah. And I'm Devin. Hi. I'm sorry I'm late.
You're fine.
This is reason for lateness.
Uh-oh.
But today we're going to be talking about Be Rich. Ken, who's the director of a nonprofit that works in Haiti called Go Serve Global, is going to be talking in the service about Bethel Orphanage, which is one of the things that we're going to support with the Be Rich campaign, which was where we ask for a bunch of money from everybody and we give it all away. And there's about 50 orphans that are going to be impacted by the work that he and his team are going to be able to do with our support. So we're really excited for that.
Yep. And this week, coming up on Tuesday from 6:30 to 8, here in Tiffin Elementary in the library, we're going to have our State of the Church address, if you want to say it like that, State of the Church meeting. It's just a way to get to know the changes that might be coming up through the year with Infused Church. If you're local, come by. If you can't make it, you can email us at info@infused.church, and they can send you the recording after the fact. They're not going to have it live. They're just going to record it, and then if you need it, we'll be able to send that to you. That's a great way to learn what things are going on in the church, how you can help in the future or currently, especially with Be Rich starting now, and then future times for that.
Yeah. And then also, speaking of Be Rich, and this time of year, we do this thing where we gather a bunch of things for local kids here in the Clear Creek Amana School District. We work together with the counselors, and they have a list of things that have been asked for that families need. And we've got a bunch of tags on a little tree. We call it the Giving Tree. And then for you folks who are online, you can go to infuse.church/giving tree, and then you can ship those gifts directly here to go to those kids.
I think it's almost a direct link to Amazon. So,
yeah.
And then the address just sends us to us. So
Yes. Exactly. Yep. It'll just go. You'll go to purchase, and it'll come right to here, and we'll get it to those kids in December. So thanks for considering that. We're so glad that you're here. Yeah. Can you say hi?
She's looking at the camera. You see everybody online here?
Can you blow a kiss? Can you go? Mwah?
Oh, there you go.
There we go. All right.
Yeah, we may have more of that after the fact. Enjoy the service.
Thanks.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Infuse. I'm David, this is Grace. We got Brent on drums and Amy on keyboard. If you would please stand and sing with us. You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, working in this
You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Even when I don't see that you're working, even when I don't feel that you're working, you never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't feel that you're working, even when I don't feel that you're working, you never stop working. You never stop working. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. 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 Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Walking around these walls, I thought by now they'd fall, but you have never failed me yet. Waiting for change to come, knowing the battle's won, for you have never failed me yet. Your promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness, your faithfulness. I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence. You've never failed me yet. I know the night won't last. Your words will come to pass. My heart will sing your praise again. Jesus, you're still enough. Keep me within your love. My heart will sing your praise again. Your promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness, your faithfulness. I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence. You never fail me yet. still stands. Great is your faithfulness, your faithfulness. I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence. You never fail me yet. Your promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness, your faithfulness. I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence. You never fail me yet. You never will forget.
You guys would bow your heads and pray with us this morning. Dear Lord, thank you for bringing us here today. And help us remember that you will help us to do it again. That we can succeed again. That we can feel your love again. That we can be a witness to others. That we can minister to our children. Help us to remember that whether it's a bad week or a good week, that we can do it again. Every day is a gift. Help us to carry your love into this week and do it again. In your name I pray, amen. You can be seated.
Hello and welcome to Infused Church. My name is Melinda and I serve on our operations team. If you joined us in person today, you may have gotten a program when you walked in. In it, you will find some helpful information about Infused Church, today's service, and a giving envelope. If you've come prepared to give today, drop it in the offering bucket on the welcome table in the back of the gym. You can also give through our Infused Church app or on our website. If you'd like to fill out the connection card in your program, you can drop it in the offering bucket as well. If it's your first time with us today, welcome. We're so glad you're here. If you haven't already, stop by the first time guest table in the entryway to receive a free gift. It's our way of saying thanks so much for visiting today. For those of you joining us online for the first time, fill out our online connection card and we'll drop a thank you in the mail. Also, online guests, for the best viewing experience, go to live.infuse.church and adjust your video quality by using the gear icon in the bottom of your screen. Now, here are some things happening at Infuse.
We are inviting you to be a part of our giving tree to help families in our local community. We'll have a tree set up in the back of the gym starting on November 20th. You can shop for a child by taking a tag off the tree, purchasing a gift, and then returning it unwrapped by December 11th. You can also shop online at infuse.church/givingtree. What's better than Thanksgiving? Friendsgiving, of course. All 6th through 10th graders are invited to join us next Sunday at 10:30 a.m. in the MSM room for apple cider, a pie eating competition, and a lesson on community.
Finally, don't forget to check in at Infused Church on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and download our app so you can watch messages, see upcoming events, and more. Thanks again for joining us.
Hey everybody, my name's Devin. I had to check on the screen. I am on the donor support team. I always forget what it is.
I'm Ryan, operations team leader here. Welcome you guys in church and online. Thanks for joining us. We just have a few announcements. We actually are going to pick two big important topics to give you today. And number one is State of the Church. We're going to be doing this on Tuesday at 6:30 here at Tiffin Elementary in the library. It's just a good place to come to listen and hear what's going to be going on with the church, what's coming up, the changes. If this is your home church and you've been here a week or you've been here for years, we strongly encourage you to come. We would love to see you here. Just be a part of this conversation. And if you can't be here and you want to still hear what's going on, you can email us at info@infuse.church and they can send you a recording of this. And it'll be good to be a part of this, especially if you consider this your home church. We definitely want to see you there.
For sure. Second thing is, we're in week 2 of Be Rich, and if you weren't here last week, we're talking about how we can gather a bunch of money and then give it all away to causes both here locally and then abroad. And today we get to hear from Ken from Go Serve Global about one of the projects that we are supporting this year in Haiti. So thank you, Ken, for being here. And if this is the right thing for you, 4 easy ways to give to Be Rich. You can go to the bucket at the back of the gym, infuse.church/BeRich on the app, and then mail to that address right there. And as we do every Sunday, we remind ourselves that the church is not a building or a place or a specific time on Sunday, it's the people. So we're all the church, and we take a minute to meet the church. So find somebody here for 3 minutes and find somebody that you don't know very well or you haven't met yet. Say, my name is whatever, and then answer this question.
We would like to know, what is your favorite holiday? So we had a little question online about favorite pie. So that kind of led Devin to realize my favorite holiday is Thanksgiving, because I can eat pumpkin pie. My grandmother used to have to make 2, one for the family and one for me. So that's my holiday, guilt-free. What about you?
That's so good. I think Christmas is still my favorite holiday because there's some of that guilt-free eating, but then there's also presents and like a bunch of time off. And I have a Merry Liftmas shirt, which is just this weird tradition that I wear it's terrible.
Nice, I'll have to see that.
So this Christmas,
All
coming
right.
soon. But go find somebody that you don't know yet. 3 minutes, ready, set, go.
Hello and welcome to Infuse Church. My name is Melinda and I serve on our operations team. If you join
I started going to Haiti 9 years ago, I realized that it's something that I could do to change lives. A country like Haiti, even someone like me, can do things that saves lives. And that's a significant thing to think about all the kids and adults that just through a little bit of help, it can make a life changer for them. It's hard to explain how much the safety homes have changed lives. After the hurricane in Matthew, we began trying to find the most needy of the people that lost their homes. There's so much need. It was just unbelievable. We didn't know where to start. We began, again, seeking the Lord's guidance. We began building homes there, and to think that they've got a home that's going to last for 75, 80 years, and that you can build a home in one day is just an amazing thing.
Hey, so good morning, everybody. If we haven't had a chance to meet yet, my name is Taylor. I'm one of the pastors here, and we are in week 2 of the series Be Rich, which is something we do every single year. If you're newer here, just a quick synopsis of what Be Rich is. It's an annual campaign we do. As Devin said, we raise money, and we are rich in generosity and good deeds. And so we raise that money, and then we give 100% of it away to help a hurting world. 100% goes to help a hurting world. And we do that locally and internationally. And so to recap what we learned last week, we usually pick projects, specifically working with existing organizations or groups or individuals that are really making a difference. And we want to come alongside them and help them to do the amazing work that they're already doing. And so the 4 projects that we picked this year include a scholarship to make a difference not only now, but going forward throughout the next year. We are also partnering with the city of Tiffin, Iowa. If you're joining us online, that's the city that we currently meet in. And we're partnering with them to help pay off utility bills for people who owe the city for their water and their sewer and are just simply behind and need a helping hand to catch back up, especially as we enter the winter months. And so we're just going to take care of all of that those outstanding bills this year. We're going to raise money to buy 100 pairs of new snow boots and snow pants for kids in the Clear Creek Amana School District, which is the school building that we meet in, and the district. It's one of the fastest growing districts in the state of Iowa, and so we're going to help with that. It's something they do every year already. However, this way they don't have to take a significant part of their kind of benevolence fund or their money that they help students and kids with and invest it in there. They can invest it throughout the year in other ways to help kids and their needs. And, some kids obviously don't have snow boots, snow pants, but I think another thing to help us realize that some kids do, they're just not very good. And so if, there's holes in snow pants, holes in boots, that kind of thing, it doesn't really help keep the water in the snow, and they can get very cold, and that's obviously dangerous. And so helping to relieve that burden off the wonderful counselors here at Clear Creek Amana School District and helping kids. And then finally, what we're going to talk about today is helping the orphans at a specific orphanage in Lakai, Haiti, called Bethel Orphanage. And they currently, those kids, sleep on cardboard mattresses. And so we're going to buy real mattresses. And give or take, it's about $120 per mattress to buy, deliver, all that kind of stuff. And so we're going to, part of the total amount that we're raising this year is going to go to do that and to make a difference there. And so today, we're going to talk to Ken, who you just saw in that video. He has been kind enough. He is, like many of us, consider ourselves to be an Iowan. He is an Iowan. We're going to talk about that story. But what I hope you take away today, and I hope you think about, and we kind of talked about this last week as well, is, like if you hear somebody say, hey, there's some kids, they're sleeping on cardboard, let's help them out by buying mattresses. I think most of us, regardless of our faith, say, that sounds like a pretty good idea. At least I hope, okay? If that's a question for you, this is a bigger conversation, but I think we can all get behind that. What I want to help us to do and challenge us to do is, unfortunately, it's easy to make a difference in someone who who has so little's life. It's a little bit harder to make a difference in our own lives, in our own hearts, because let's be honest, we have a lot. And we kind of forget how much we have. And so I really hope that today and tomorrow, as we kind of continue this series, and if you missed last week, I encourage you to go back and watch that on our app or on our website, how generosity and giving and helping others certainly will make a difference in their lives, but starting to realize how it can make a difference in our own lives, okay? So we're gonna talk about some practical things, but I hope throughout today's conversation you will think about that as well, all right? So without further ado, I think he's sitting in the back. Ken, this is your cue to come up here. So Ken DeYoung from the northwest part of Iowa, the other corner of the state, is here to chat with us today. So Ken, I get to sit all day today. This is so exciting. Okay, oh, you're muted. I got to push that left button. There you go. Boom, perfect.
Great.
There you go.
There we
All
go.
right. Ken,
Technology.
everybody. Yes, so Ken, what's your official title?
Haiti director and aviation director for Go Serve Global.
Aviation director, yes.
Co-founder, I don't care.
Yes.
Whatever, flunky.
And the aviation part is, perfect. A lot of hats. We'll talk about the co-founding in a second. So, and the aviation part is important because of how difficult it is to get to
Haiti.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes.
Correct. And it was how Go Serve started.
Right.
Was an airplane.
Was an airplane.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about that in a second. So real quick, just to give a brief synopsis, we're going to show some pictures of Haiti, and Ken's going to narrate pretty quickly how all the different ways in which they have and are currently making an impact in Haiti, specifically in this one region. I should have brought a map in retrospect, but in Lakai. And where is Lakai in proximity to, like?
It's on the south coast.
South
The
coast.
South Claw, as we would say in Haiti.
Right.
Horseshoe
Right.
shape.
Okay, so opposite Port-au-Prince.
Port-au-Prince is in the middle.
In the middle, and it's in the
and
corner.
we're on the south.
Okay.
You bet.
So that has kind of become the central operating base of Go Serve Global.
Correct.
More or less.
For the Haiti, part of things.
Right,
Correct.
for the Haiti part of things. Okay, so here's some of the things that Go Serve has done over the last, how many years have you guys been?
11 years.
11 years. Okay, so the first picture is?
Our birthing center up in the mountains in Cape Ancient, which might not seem like a big thing, except that it's in an area where they have absolutely zero health care. So it transforms many lives with the opportunity to have not only the birthing part of it, but some prenatal care and training as well.
Excellent, because that is such a high mortality, lack of care area. Okay.
Exactly.
And then the next picture is, how old is this picture?
30 days.
30 days old. Okay. And
I got this a few weeks ago from Maddie, our Haitian director. Said she showed up with her kids. Husband had passed away. She had zero ability to take care of them, no job, no food, and obviously in Haiti there's no welfare system. So if you have none of those things, how do you care for your family?
And so real quick, why can't, for everybody who might be thinking this, why doesn't she just go get a job? And
there are none.
Okay.
Poverty in a country like Haiti is so compelling that they're just, what's she going to do with her kids if she could find a job? And most people in a country like Haiti can't go get a job. They have to create one. So they become a little bit of an entrepreneur one way or the other to try to make money, or they'll have a garden or that kind of thing if they have a little plot of ground. But her case, she had nothing.
And so, how does Eddie, who again is the director of Go Serve in Haiti physically,
Correct.
And he's Haitian?
Correct.
Okay. So where is she at now?
She's at our James 127 project, which was built with safety homes that you've talked about briefly, and it was built for babies and widows that have no place to go, and in her case, she kind of falls in the middle of that. So she's living there and helping with the project there.
Okay, and so she has, like, what is the implication for her life other than a place to sleep at night for her family?
Well, her
At this, where she's at right now?
the place to sleep is huge, anywhere if you have nothing. And so she has a home, and then she has food for her kids and herself. And we have medical care there. We have a hospital. We have a school, dental clinic, those kind of things, and a church, which they're meeting right now. All those things that might seem kind of normal or easy for us, that she wouldn't have at all.
And just out of curiosity, how long is a Haitian church service?
Oh, 2.5, 3 hours.
Wow.
Quick story. We had
Quick story.
You
You see where I'm going here. If I run a little over sometimes, you're okay.
Taylor asked me the other day about Sharon. I said, "You want the 5-minute version or the 2-hour version?" And stories just go on and on. But had a acquaintance from close to Pocahontas there, went with us, and we were in church Sunday morning, 2.5 hours, and we went to a Sunday afternoon service at La Brise, and it was 2.5 hours, and then we went back to Lacaille and had another 2.5-hour service in Lacaille. He said, "I've been in church today more than I've been in the last year." So anyway, 2.5 hours is normal.
That's Christianity for you people. Just kidding. Okay. Sorry, Ken, and I should have prefaced this. Where do you live? What's your day job? And then we'll jump back into Haiti because I didn't preface that. I kind of forgot.
We live between Pocahontas and Lorenz.
Yep.
And my day job is farming. And we farm to feed what we do.
Yeah.
That's become the purpose of the Young Farms, is to take care of poor and feed our projects.
Feed the Go Serve Global Project.
Correct.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Right.
And then Jill's here as well, your wife.
My wife's here, Jill.
Yeah. Not that you forgot about her, but
No, I didn't forget about her, and I can't see her either.
Okay.
These lights.
She's there. I see her.
Yep.
Okay.
We have 2 sons. They're grown and gone. They're married, and we have 8 grandkids. And saw our youngest grandson play basketball yesterday in Ankeny, and these grandkids are the smartest, cutest, most talented kids. Ask Jill, but no, I'm just kidding. We spend a lot of time, if we can, with our grandkids. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so we talked about this here a lot when it happened, but last year there was it last year there was another earthquake in Lacaille? Yes.
August 14th.
Or in Haiti, and it just so
August
happened
14th.
to be right outside of Lacaille.
It was, and we happened to be there. So being a Iowa flatlander, that's not something we've experienced a lot. That was a traumatic thing too. Yeah, it was, we were sitting on the deck at our house having coffee at 8 o'clock in the morning, and the whole earth started moving, literally. It just, I don't know how to explain it. It's an awful thing. It's just awful.
And the biggest implication when earthquakes strike is simply just the little infrastructure that there is, as we can see here with a church building, just cannot hold up
No.
generally.
No, in a country like Haiti, where the construction is so poor, the way you save money if you're building a concrete cement block house or building is take the cement out of it, and so the quality is poor, the buildings go down, and so our reaction after we regained our senses was what happened around us and where can we go help our friends.
And then in the next picture, we have, if anybody's familiar or grew up on a farm or drive around Iowa and you look at grain bins, one type of grain bin out there is Sukup Grain Bins. They're an Iowa-based company, and Steve and his family are very generous and also helped in coordination to transform a grain bin into a home. And so that's well, it's painted in this picture, probably one of the nicest grain bins you've ever seen. And so this is where that gal that we were talking about earlier and her kids are living now too.
Yeah, in one of these. So we do as much as we can. We, especially since the earthquake a year ago, we've started building more homes for individual families rather than just projects like schools or orphanages and that kind of thing. And words can't explain the gratitude from these folks. I tell people I've got the best job in the world because I get to go down and get all the hugs and kisses and accolades on what's been done and the lives that have been changed. It's just amazing.
And for context, one of these homes costs
$5,600, but by the time we get them shipped to Haiti and put up, it's about $7,500.
$7,500, and they endure earthquakes and they endure hurricanes.
We've proven both those. Hurricane Matthew, we were the epicenter of that as well.
Yeah.
And they all stood.
Every single one of them stood.
Every one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're a great investment. And then you guys do stuff with well water.
Correct.
Well, all around the world, but also in Haiti.
Yeah, I think we've probably dug 50 wells in Haiti in our area. Again, transforms lives. You know, if you're stuck in poverty and you spend all day just walking for water, to have a well in your community. In this case, it was up at Manish, and there were, this is 3 years ago, I think, when that picture was taken, but 45,000 people living in that area in the middle of a drought and no water. You know, what do you do? I asked the lady that. She said, well, a lot of times we'll send the kids to bed. And I said, well, yeah, but you get up in the morning and you still don't have any water. And she goes, you know, I don't know how they survive, but we drill a lot of wells.
Yeah, wow. And then the next picture is, explain her, because this is really cool.
Shalin, she's one of our shining stars of the Constellation Center that started 11 years ago.
And the Constellation Center is?
It is our main orphanage, and that's where the hospital and church, our biggest church and that kind of thing is, and a school for about 1,200 kids. She's going to be coming to DMAC to go to school here next semester if we can get a student visa. It's hard. It's really hard, but we got one for last fall, and actually Sarah, we saw her last night in Ankeny, so we do what we can to get kids back here as well.
I mean, the transformational path there to, you know, coming to go serve, you know, this is Iowa, like Iowans are doing this. You know, I don't know, sometimes it can be humbling when you live in Iowa and, you know, there are individuals who are not only getting their lives changed by the orphanages, but then they're getting after it. I mean, they just don't sit idly by. They take the opportunity that many of you in the room have given to provide over the years. And then, this is adorable, this next picture.
First day of school a year ago. We haven't been able to start school yet this year because of all the gang violence and whatever, but this was the smaller kids, first day of school. They love wearing their uniforms. It means they're going to school. That's a big deal.
Think about your children and just getting them dressed in the morning. And these kids are excited to get dressed and go to school. That's awesome. And then this last one is something that many people here have an impact with.
This is the kids at Bethel, our small university, our small orphanages that we've just taken on, and the one that you folks have had part of.
And so the story of Bethel, how did Bethel come onto our shoulders?
Bethel isn't too far from the Constellation Center, our main work area. And so we've gone for several years to them, and can we help with medical supplies and bring them to the doctor, that kind of thing. And
because this is not a Go Serve Global orphanage.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
And they were doing okay, and so you don't ask a question, is there something you need, because the answer is going to be what can you give me? You know, it's a Haitian thing. So we go in and try to do things in a sparing way, and they were doing whatever they were doing to take care of themselves, and that's okay. So we came in and helped. We fixed their well and ended up drilling a new well for them and that kind of thing. And that was our experience with Bethel early on.
And then in 2020?
Yeah, early 2020, late 19, somewhere in there. Eddie, our Haitian director, said, we have a problem. And when he says, we have a problem, you sit down and listen. You know, Houston, we have a problem.
Because Eddie, just for context, because I've never met Eddie, but through Ken's, Eddie is so incredibly resourceful, and he just makes it happen. Really makes every dollar go so far, every bit of food go so far. And so when Eddie says there's a problem.
Yeah, I've never met somebody that can make a dollar go as far as Eddie can. He just has an amazing gift to do that in his world, and he has hundreds of people coming to him every day asking for help. So how do you decide who needs help? And so Eddie said, we have a problem, and they lost their funding. And they had one church here in the States that was supporting them, and the director at We Knew Her, Madame Malin, her husband passed away, and one way or another in a boardroom in the States, they decided that orphanage didn't need help, so they cut off all the funding. And so there they sat with nothing. And so, you know, in a world that we're in, we're always short of money, so how do we help? You know, we try to do what we can sparingly, take it on a little bit at a time, and without building dependence. You know, you just try to do the best you can. And so that happened. We were there when we found out about that, Conwell and I. And a week later, I brought a team from Minnesota down. And we're sitting there at night. What do we do? How do we, you know, our heart is to feed kids. That's, if you ask Conwell, my right-hand man, what do? We feed kids. And there's kids that don't have money for food. And the next week, there was a team came down, didn't really know them. Chris went over with Conwell to the orphanage to help out a little bit with some mechanical things, and came back, and he said, you know, the Lord put it on my heart a couple months before we came to Haiti that there was going to be a need. And he just started preparing my wife and I and my business for something. Didn't know what it was. And he said, today I found out what it was. And so Chris started doing what he could in a very small way. Not enough in our eyes, but something's better than nothing. And the Lord had him set up, prepared to start that before we even knew it. And it's those kind of stories that go on all the time. So Chris came with some money to help us get started a little bit, at least a little food.
Yeah, so really, and tell me if I'm wrong here, for the last 2-ish years or 1.5 years, we've kind of been cobbling by with Bethel, more or less. Have you guys officially taken Bethel as a Go Serve orphanage?
We have.
Okay, because that's always, there's implications which we can't get into, but of when you officially take on an orphanage or something like that, it is kind of funny, like the government then cares what
all
you
of a
do.
sudden they care.
But before that, if you don't take on the orphanage, then they don't care. So it's kind of fascinating. But so Infuse, just as context, especially if you've joined us in the last year. So last year we helped Bethel with pretty much food and fuel, because it was just so scarce. Not that it's much better now. We've helped out with windows and some other projects, flooring maybe or something like that. And so these are some of the kids that will be the recipients of the mattresses. So yeah, at the orphanage. So Did I miss anything with Bethel?
No.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah, go ahead.
back up a little bit. Last time we were there was in August, and found out Madame Malin was sick, and since then she's passed away. But her kids, who are adult children, have taken over the responsibility of the orphanage, if you will, with Eddie's direction. And so far, they're doing pretty well. But we talked about, well, what do we do? Do we absorb them in our larger orphanage or whatever? But I think we're good. I think we're going to be able to keep that facility going. But because of all that, within the last months or so, we've officially taken on the responsibility.
Yeah. So to put that in a timeline, they lost all their funding, and then the lady who was leading the orphanage, she passed away. I shared that when that had happened, and then also an earthquake. And I remember you telling me, and I shared this with everybody here, but you, when the earthquake happened, since you were there driving up, expecting, because this is a 2-story facility, expecting it to have been demolished, which obviously the implication there being kids would have been hurt and or worse. However,
Yeah, our first stop was at the Constellation Center, bigger facility, closer, and checked it all out and helped get triage set up, all those kinds of things that an Iowa farmer hasn't been trained to do, but you just get her done, you know, and so we set that up and helped people, and people from the community started coming in with broken legs and all the stuff you'd expect. And we said, we got to go to Bethel. That's our next stop. And we just didn't want to go. And we got there, and kids were running out. And of course, everybody's traumatized. The whole south of Haiti's traumatized. The kids run out, and they're traumatized. And then a couple of them with damaged arms and one broken leg, I can remember, and that kind of thing. But there was one wall on the back side of that picture that went down, but the rest stood, and nobody was killed. And that day, we found out throughout the whole day, there was no one in our facilities of all our orphanages and whatnot that was killed. And that's a miracle in itself.
yeah, no one in the orphanages were killed. However, the people who attended church at like a Go Serve Global facility, there was unfortunately a number of fatalities.
There were, and some of our staff, dorm moms, that kind of thing, they were pretty much all on site, and so they were okay. But some of their families, you know, one that I can think of, her husband was killed, and the kids, the church downtown Lakai, I think that you're referring to, we heard the story of one of the good families, committed families in the church in Lakai that, they watched their kids. They couldn't get them out of the door. They were outside, and mom and dad was out, and the door jammed, and couldn't get the kids out. So, tough day. That was a tough day.
So we're going to shift just a little bit for like 5-7 minutes here. I know this is a longer story, but I want you guys to hear Ken's brief story of how he went from Iowa farmer, Ken and Jill, from Iowa farmers to nonprofit starters, orphanage starters, grain bin houses builders, you know, like that whole thing. Because that probably wasn't in your, 10-year plan or anything.
It wasn't on my plan at all.
Yeah.
I'd never been on a missions trip. We'd supported a good friend, Terry Baxter, that's co-founder with me of Go Serve, and his work. He's one of those gifted missionaries. I'm a dirt farmer. But I thought our place in this whole deal was to support people like Terry, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, but that's where we thought we were. So we stayed home, and we supported his activities and others in the orphanage in India. So that's where we were prior to that earthquake in 2010, and January 12th, the earthquake happened in Port-au-Prince. 3 days later, I get an email from a group in the Bahamas and say, we're looking for planes and pilots. And I said, I responded, I could do that.
Where were you?
I was sitting in Iowa,
You were in Iowa.
my desk at home.
Okay, yeah.
And it was nasty cold January. Got this email.
And you had just bought a plane.
Yeah, just
Right.
just upgraded from a V-tail Bonanza to a,
Oh, that's right. I
a
forgot.
Conquest,
Yeah,
or
sorry.
excuse me, a 340 Cessna.
Yeah.
And which is a great plane for family, and we'd flown to the Bahamas a few times for family vacations, so we were
Because that was the
familiar.
purpose of the plane, is just
Yeah,
family.
Family.
Yeah.
We'd never really found a way to use the plane for the Lord's work in a significant way. So when that email came, it had been on my heart watching this stuff come in, that damage, terrible damage in Haiti, and I'd never been to Haiti, but I've been to the Bahamas. So I got this email, said, we're looking for planes and pilots. I respond, yeah, I can go. And 10 minutes later, Matt Hansen's on the phone interviewing me, and I'm trying to figure out, well, how do I get out of this gracefully, you know? And later that day, I ended up in Fort Lauderdale. Another guy from Alabama didn't really know what we were doing, but we were getting her done. And
Because he brought his plane, too.
he brought his
Yeah.
plane, and we loaded him with medical supplies, and in we went the next day, and that began an everyday trip into Haiti from Nassau, Bahamas. Just getting her done. Didn't know what was next, you know. And that began all of that. And my last day in Haiti was going to be March 6th. And by then, my family, Jill, and the kids were in Nassau waiting for me. And I hadn't been out of the airport. Been in Haiti, you know, we'd drop and run. Every day we'd run another load of medical supplies, and hadn't been out of the airport. And I asked one of the gals from Bahamas Habitat if somebody could show me around Lakai. Sure, there'll be somebody to show you around. Got there that day, and Haitian man was standing there waiting for me and put me in the back of his pickup, and we drove around Lakai, and then he started throwing curveballs, as I say, and it ended up being Eddie. Never met the man.
And he worked at the UN?
He was working for the UN at the time, and
yeah,
so
okay.
he didn't have time to do this.
Right.
If you ask Eddie today, how did he get there? Why was he the one?
Because there's utter destruction everywhere.
Yeah.
Eddie's working for the UN, needing to help the destruction. Instead, he's taking this Iowa farmer on the back of his truck.
And it's just like the Lord
Around.
picked him up and set him at the airport and said, you need to go with Ken. I mean, it's one of those, as Winfrey Phipps would say, hooked up from heaven, you know. There's no doubt. Without meeting Eddie that day, Go Serve wouldn't exist. And it's nothing to do with me. It's everything to do with God putting that connection together. And he said, well, do you have time? I'd like to take you out and show you where we're going to build an orphanage. And I'm thinking, I have responsibilities. I don't have time. Okay, let's go. So we went out there.
Has anybody ever done that before? Yeah. Oh, Taylor, look at the time. Yeah, I gotta head out. Yep.
Roast is in the oven, and
Yeah,
this
yeah,
guy's
I gotta-
talking way
gotta
too
get
long.
home. Yep.
Yeah. And so out we went, and then he really changed it up on me. He said, on the way back, and all he had was a piece of ground and a shipping container sitting at this property, and looked like a long project to get it ready for an orphanage. He said, well, stop at a house I'm renting, and I'll introduce you to 15 little girls. And he did, and he said, they're going to sing, and they're going to kiss you, and they did, and they broke my heart. And I went back to Nassau that night and told Jill, this isn't over. It's not the last trip. It's the first of many. I knew as clear as we're sitting here that the Lord had much more, and it had something to do with this Haitian that I met today. I just knew it. And so I went home and started sharing the story to anybody that would stop long enough, and shared it with my church, and here we go. Had no idea. I didn't sign up for this. I wouldn't have sold the farm and moved to Haiti. That's not me. but one step at a time, the Lord has been gracious enough to allow us to get involved in something that's transformed our lives in many ways. And sometimes I wish it would have happened sooner, but I can't do anything about that. And our lives were at a point where all this could happen. And it, in hindsight, to see all the connections that were put in place to allow this to happen for us, it's just amazing. You know, even our oldest son, Heath, decided to come back and farm. January 1st, 2010, he moves home. 15 days later, I leave. Lord knew I needed Heath there. I was thinking it was nice for him to come back, but I didn't know I was going to Haiti once a month. And here we are. And Lord is, you know, you asked about this before the service. What's this done to your life? And I don't know how you can go to a place like Haiti and walk down a street and have somebody hand you their baby, and it doesn't mean hold it while I get the bottle. It means, will you take this baby? Because I have no way to care for him. I don't know how you experience that without doing something to your life. And that's what's happened to me on a daily basis. You know, we get hardened to the fact that there are thousands of kids that need to be fed around the world. And, you know, what do we do about that? I can't feed those 26,500 kids that are going to die today from preventable causes. I just can't. So you lock your mind away from it and walk away. Well, there are little kids that I met in Lakai, Haiti, and around Haiti, face to face, and we've found a way to change lives. And that's a really special thing. And God had this plan for me before I was born. And I think we all have. He has that plan for us. We just need to find it, whatever it is. And I'm just so grateful that I've been able to find it and be part of this. It's all Him. It's nothing to do with a couple of farmers with no gifts. And it just takes a willing heart. Here we are today.
Yeah, I like how you ended there. Just, it's a willing heart. 'Cause, I mean, you got to say yes to it.
You do.
Like, that's the thing. Like, I'm guessing for most of you sitting here, you know, that pulls at your heart a bit, but you have to say yes.
Yeah, and when it gets past, and I think I probably mentioned that in the video, but putting a meal on the table and a roof over your head, what's this all for? I kind of joke about we farm as a fix to care for the poor. Well, beyond a roof on your head, over your head, what do we do all this for? You know, we compare ourselves to our neighbors, and we don't consider ourselves rich, but compared to 95% of the world, we are. And so we get hardened to that. But what's the Lord have for me? Max Lucado wrote a book, Outlive Your Life. I was reading several years ago. And in the last chapter, there's a picture of a tombstone, and it's blank. And then he said, when your grandkids realize you live in a time and a place where the church in America could feed the hungry, all the hungry around the world, how will they judge your response? Will they consider Grandpa being a fun guy with a lot of toys, or will they know him for making a difference? And for us to take care of the needs, the physical needs of people in a place like Haiti, and it's happening all over the world now, through GoServe, through God. But when it gets beyond taking care of the physical needs, then that family that got a safety home, they asked me, why'd you do this? Well, that's when, why do we do this? And it gives us the opportunity to share the gospel, because it goes hand in hand. When you care for their physical needs, then they're open to hear the gospel. if you try to go into the slums of City Soleil and Port-au-Prince and share the gospel with a mom and kids that haven't eaten for 3 weeks, they're probably not going to be too open to what you have to say.
And that's also not really good news at that point. I mean, the good
No.
news is
No.
caring for the poor
And that's Christ, you know, pure and faultless in God's eyes is to care for the widows and the orphans. Pure and faultless. Doesn't get any better than that.
And when you care for their physical needs, and this is all going to hit all of us differently, but I know just for me, like, the 26,000 kids that die every day of preventable illnesses or hunger and all that, that's absolutely overwhelming. And I mean, we're not ignorant. That's not something that all of us in this room put together could make a difference. But that's kind of the cool thing about the church is we're all on the same page. I shouldn't go that far. We should be all on the same page, at least in this one way, that when you take care of physical needs, that frees people up. I mean, you've shared that too, for people to dream and to think differently. And that's really what a place like Haiti needs, is people who are thinking differently. And you have to take care of those needs to do that, to go to DMAC and get an education. Or as many kids will look at Ken and say, I want to be a pilot. Well, they can do that because they've been fed, they're cared for, they're loved, and they're inspired. I mean, that's honestly, like, so I don't get emotional myself, but that's one of the most important things I think that all of you and we can be a part of, is inspiring. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, you told me that too. When you aren't going down because of COVID, you weren't going down. You said, I mean, the kids do kind of lose hope a little bit. Just knowing that there are people there that care about them, even hundreds, thousands of miles away, makes such a difference, and it inspires them to think differently and to believe differently and to grow and to change, and that transforms, that changes poverty.
That changes Haiti. The first day I met Eddie, I'm thinking, these kids have to get out of here. They're all going to die. We got to get them to the States, Americanize them mentality. He said, no, our goal is to get these kids that need a place into an orphanage, give them a bed to sleep on, give them a meal or 3 in a country like Haiti. That's an amazing thing. And give them a good education, share the gospel with them, and change the way of thinking of these kids and integrate them back in the country. And that's how you change Haiti. I have people say Haiti's never going to change, nothing you can do, it's always going to, maybe. But this is a slow process, and Eddie was right. That's how you change Haiti, one kid at a time. And Charlene is a shining star of that, and there's many more right behind her.
Great. If we could, let's pray. I know we're shockingly running behind, but let's pray and thank God for what he's doing here. If you would, bow your heads and pray with me. Heavenly Father, Lord, I thank you for Ken. I thank you for Jill. I thank you for their family, and just really saying yes, Lord, saying yes to the connections you've made, for the opportunities you've created, and for them to lean into that. And I just pray that you would, we would feel your presence in our heart. And I think sometimes we feel that presence in moments like these when there's so many emotions of the hurt and the burdens that other human beings have in this world. And I think we also recognize in the same way that we, Lord, are so incredibly blessed. And I think that's a little bit of your spirit mixed in there, calling us to action, calling us to make a difference, calling us to realize that we are all your creation, that we are all your children. We may grow up in different parts of the world, but that doesn't make us any less or more valuable than each other. And that those of us who have should be rich in good deeds and generosity and be willing to share. Because in all fairness, we didn't earn all that we have. So much of it was given, and that we have an opportunity to give as you have given to us. And so help us, all of us in this room today, watching online, to say yes and to lean into that. And help change people's lives, change other human beings' lives, and to make it better, to help those kids in Haiti and around the world, to inspire them, to care for them, and in so doing, transform it, bring your kingdom, your lordship a little closer to earth, your values and your love a little closer to earth. Lord, help us today to do that. In your name I pray, amen. So let's give a round to Ken and Jill too, even though she's not up here. Real quick, if you want to give to Be Rich, there's a couple ways to do that. You can scan that QR code or just go to the website infuse.church/berich. You can give. We're challenging everybody to give $120. I know that could be a stretch, and that's okay if that's too much, but $120, or give in increments of $120, because that's what it costs for a mattress. So I'm going to at least try this month to help cover one mattress or two or three. And then if you want to do more, but that doesn't always work into your monthly budget, you can pledge through the end of January. So if you go to that website, pledge, www.infuse.church/berich, there's a pledge button, and you can say, hey, through the end of January, I'm committing to giving this month. And you can give this month and December and January, and then keep that in your heart and on your prayers, and really make an impact. So thank you all for doing that. We're going to get off the stage now. We're going to sing one last song. Thanks so much for being here. Be here next week as we wrap up the series, Be Rich. Thanks so much.
If you guys want to stand and join us, this one's a little bit more upbeat, so if you want to move around, you move around. Here in my heart, you have found your place, replacing fear with your freedom. You lift me up, you lift me up. When all seems lost in back next week, same time, same place.
Hey everybody, good to see you again. We saw Bruce and Carly and Sonatina. Sonatina loved Ian's answer to, Ian's there of course, his answer to what is your favorite holiday, and that answer was any holiday where he doesn't have to work. Michelle, Ryan was saying that he identifies a lot with you with the lots of Cool Whip.
Yeah. Extra Cool Whip on that pumpkin pie. For sure agree to that.
That's right. And then Kit and Dean and his mother, so glad to have you all. Whether or not you were in the chat, we're so glad that you're here. What did you think of the message in there, the conversation?
It was an interesting conversation. Ken's an amazing man, and I'm glad that, he got his call as late as he said in life, but, being a pilot isn't a feat in its own, but just to volunteer your services in your own plane and to fly down there once a month, but, yeah, it's inspiration, and Melinda's a teacher at heart, and, I was like, oh, they need a teacher. She's like, I'd go. We had a little conversation in there, and I was like, I know you would. I said, I'd dig a well if they need me to. But, it pulls on you. We talked about either fostering or doing mission trips, and this just grabs those heartstrings again. And, yeah, I just think it reaffirms if you give any way you can, do it. Say yes. Like Taylor and them said, you have to say yes.
Right, yeah. That life-changing thing of, you take care of those physical needs, but then it gives you that opportunity to say, there's a reason why we're doing this, because we're valued and loved by God, and we want to share
And you
that.
share that gospel.
Yeah, for sure. So, we're so glad that you were here. We're gonna wrap up next week. I'm actually talking about generosity next week, so that may or may not be an incentive to come next week. But we'd love to have you again. We've got the Giving Tree starting next week. You can check that out online at infuse.church/giving tree next week. We'll talk about it then. So glad to see you all. We'll see you next week.